Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a new webinar of A19 Pro. Today on our agenda, Apple Insights Session 5 with a focus on the new Apple products, which has launched since the beginning of September. We saw new iPhones, AirPods, and Apple Watch. And also, of course, the upgrade to iOS 26, macOS 26, Vision Pro, and Apple TV OS 26 as well. So today we have Jody Thierry, who is Apple architect here at Lab9 Pro, with us for this new webinar. And today we will host this webinar to you. The webinar today is recorded. So if you want to share the recording afterwards, you can find the link on our YouTube channel and you can share it through colleagues and friends, of course. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat. The chat is open for everyone, so you can see each other's chats. If you want to send something in private, you can drop your question in the Q&A. So, Jordi, are you ready for today to show the new products?
And like Zeno said, today's session is entirely focused on the new product announcements that Apple made in the beginning of September. Yes, we're a little bit late. Apologies. Things happen. Agendas got filled. But we want to go over some things anyway and maybe give you some tidbits that you didn't know. Maybe already have the new products or you saw them in our stores already. But let's go and jump right in and start with the AirPods Pro. So Apple announced the AirPods Pro 3, which have better noise canceling. Apple says twice as good as the AirPods Pro 2 and 4 times as good as the AirPods Pro, the original ones. And I really can appreciate that. I got my AirPods Pro in last week and I came from the first generation. I didn't really play around with the second one yet. So most features are new for me, but the noise canceling is so much better. It's really, really great. Battery life also saw an improvement, so now it lasts up to 24 hours in the case, and so you have 8 hours of continuous use using active noise cancelling, which is good. You last throughout the whole working day, so you don't have to hear your colleagues anymore. Fit is better. I didn't have an issue myself with the fit of the AirPods Pro first generation, but now, so the design is a little bit different. It's built to suit more ear types, and you also get more ear tips in the box, so you can make it fit perfectly for you. It has a heart rate sensor, so it shares that with the Power Beats that were released a couple of months ago. And so now, if you don't have an Apple Watch or you don't like exercising with your Apple Watch, you could still have a heart rate sensor measuring your heart rate and trying to calculate your calories burned, etc. The last thing that Apple focused on during the keynote was live translation, and I put an asterisk across that. Small detail, it requires a compatible iPhone. So you need an iPhone that has Apple Intelligence, so that's the iPhone 15 Pro and up for this to work. And the asterisk there is because it's not available in Europe at all. Unfortunately, thanks to the DMA Act from the EU, Apple actually published an article this morning in their newsroom detailing all the features that they cannot release due to the DMA and also what impact that has on things like third-party app stores and stuff. Not gonna share my opinion on that. I try to stay neutral there, but it's unfortunate that the live translation feature is not live here. If I move to the bento box, I think I said most of this. The hearing aid, hearing test, and hearing protection were available on the AirPods Pro 2, so that's not new. IP57 dust and water resistant is a good one. I would not recommend submerging them into water. That won't work, but it is resistant to water now if you are drenched in a rainstorm or you're sweating very much. It shouldn't be a problem for those devices. All right. Then we move on to the Apple Watches. There were three announcements there, starting with the Apple Watch Series 11. Now, the Series 11 is a minor update for people coming from the Series 10. You do get much better battery life now, right? Up to 24 hours. You also have that fast charging, so it does last throughout the day and night. You can use it for tracking your sleep, and then if you hop in the shower, you can charge it. It charges up very fast, and you will be golden, right? It's more durable, so it has a new type of glass, stronger glass, which is more scratch resistant. It now comes with a 5G cellular modem. I don't necessarily know what you would do with that on an Apple Watch, but it's there. I guess it also works to increase the battery life. And you have a new hypertension notification and a sleep score. Now, those are not features that are tied to the Apple Watch Series 11. The hypertension notifications are available from the Series 9 and up, and a sleep score is available from Series 6 and up. If I move to the bento box here, I think we crossed most things. The design is the same as the Series 10. So it's the thinnest ever. And then Space Gray is back. I didn't think we see a new product in a Space Gray finish, but it's back. So that's good. Live translation is not available here. Workout Buddy I haven't used yet, but that seems to be fun, I guess. But yeah, it's a minor update, but still, if you're coming from something older than a Series 10, like a Series 9 or before, it's a really good upgrade and I would recommend it. The value model, the Apple Watch SE, got its biggest update. And I think this is the better announcement of the three, where the previous Apple Watch SE models were the lesser device. This one gets all the fun stuff, right? So you now also have an always-on display. It's still the smaller design, so the 40 and 44 millimeter housing, and only 1,000 nits display, but it's always on. It has the refresh rate of before, so not the 1 second refresh rate, but still, it's always on. It's good. And it gets all the advanced health capabilities of the previous models as well. You won't get the hypertension, for example, and some heart rate features, but it's better that you have some sensors in there. It now also supports fast charging, so this can go throughout the night as well. It can be used for the sleep score, and it has 5G cellular too. If I move to the bento box, here you see all the highlighted health sensing things, right? So for the women, you have the ovulation estimates, you have the temperature sensing throughout the night. It will detect sleep apnea. It will measure your heart rate, of course. It will guess the training load that you're experiencing when exercising. It shares the chip. That's maybe also important. The Series 10 chip. It shares it with the Series 11. So you have an as fast Apple Watch as well. And the screen is also 4 times as crack resistant as compared to the Series, the SE2, sorry. The last model, and this is the one that I ordered, is the Apple Watch Ultra 3. I got it yesterday. It's the largest display ever on an Apple Watch, and that comes because the screen has a smaller border, so it's still 49 millimeters, but the bezel is a little bit smaller. I honestly don't see the difference, but it's there, I guess. It is brighter though, so if you have your display at an angle, it will be more visible to you. And it's also a little bit more scratch resistant. The battery life got a major upgrade, now up to 42 hours, so that will last you through 2 days of use. And it has that fast charging, so it's even faster fast charging now. So you can, like I said, pop in the shower, charge it up, and you're good to go throughout the day and night. 5G cellular modem, so that's the same across the board, and also satellite communication. Now, me and my colleagues order the Apple Watch Ultra because it looks cool, not because we go out hiking for days. But if you do, the satellite communication is interesting, right? Because if you are in a spot where you need to send an urgent message and you don't have any cellular reception, now that will work. Small asterisk, you need a 5G or you need a cellular subscription active for the satellite communication to work. But I guess if you're going out in the desert or something, you will do that before you leave. You get the hypertension notifications, you get the sleep score, and something that's not on the slide here, but the display also is LTPO3 now, same as the Series 10 and 11. So you have that 1 hertz refresh rate, so that's once per second. If you have a watch face that counts seconds, you can now see the stock move across your screen. If I pull up the bento box, an interesting detail for me, because I'm an Apple nerd, is that the case is now 3D printed, which is cool. But I think we covered most of these other details. You ordered an Apple Watch 2, right, Sino?
I ordered now the Apple Watch Ultra 3. I have this first generation for a few years since the launch. I'm very happy with it, but I thought it was time to have a new one because I like the black finish.
Yep.
And that is the reason why I switch. I used the watch to hike a lot
Cool.
on holidays, and it works brilliantly. Also, the backtrack is a nice feature on it, and I use it most of the time. If you go hiking and you go left, right, and you lost your path, then it's an easy way to turn back to your car, and also to see the heights and depths in
Mhm.
your walk. That's also a very interesting one, and that's a very easy one. Then I can tell my wife it's just 100 meters, but it can't be very still. So that's the reason also why I switched to the third generation of them.
Absolutely. I have a friend who's training for a triathlon,
Hmm.
and like that's the use case where it makes sense switching to the Apple Watch, right? And he
Hmm.
he doesn't manage. Well, he has a Series 9, so maybe it's better with the Series 11, but he doesn't manage the battery life to do his full um,
Exercise.
run and swim and cycle exercises. So that's great for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Moving to the stars of the show, every September is iPhone month, of course, and so we got new iPhones as well. Starting with the iPhone 17, and just like with the Apple Watch SE, I think this phone has the greatest value there. Um, finally, the iPhone 17, so the base model, now gets the bigger and better display. So it's now the Pro Motion display that we know from the Pro models of last year, that offers 120 hertz refresh rate. That's very important. If you once you're used to a high refresh rate screen, if you move back, you will notice like in scrolling, it will jitter a little bit, and now you don't have that anymore. So that's awesome. The screen size goes to 6.3 inches, so that's a very small difference, but it's a little bit bigger. And you now have also the center stage front camera in that display. That's a square sensor, so you can take selfies in landscape mode without turning around your phone, and it's smart enough that if somebody comes into the screen, into your picture, it will zoom. Well, it will act like it zooms out to allow more people in the image. Rear cameras are two 48 megapixel cameras. Apple did some weird stuff saying how many lenses that are in the iPhones, and they multiply. Yeah, two are four, and then one is four. Three cameras are eight. They did some weird calculations there. I don't get it, but you get two very decent cameras at that. All day battery life, that's great. The A19 chip, so that's a little bit faster as well. And the N1 wireless chip. You don't get the C1 cellular modem that we know from the 16E, but the N1 chip is new as well. So it's now an in house developed chip offering Wi Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and Thread. For people that don't know Thread, that's the protocol to communicate with your smart home devices. Right? If I go to the bento box, I think we covered most of this. The ceramic shield too on the display means that it's more scratch resistant, right? So it should be more durable. Um, Base model starts at 256 gigabytes, so that's an upgrade from the 128 before. You already had the action button and camera control, so that's not really new there. But it's a great phone, and I think for most people, this is the phone to get, right. However, they announced something else. This is the shot, right? How amazing does this look? This is the iPhone Air, which is the thinnest iPhone ever, and this image doesn't necessarily do it justice, but if you hold it in your hands, please go to our stores and try it out for yourself. It's amazingly thin. It's crazy to see how much technology they packed in such a small form factor. If I pull up my bullets, like I said, 5.6 millimeter thick, so it takes the crown from the iPhone 6, which was the thinnest before. The display sits between the iPhone 17 and the 17 Pro Max. So there's no longer a plus phone, and the iPhone Air kind of takes that place. It's also 120 hertz refresh rate screen, so that's now standard across the board. You also get all day battery life, and we did some preliminary testing here. Um, it with normal use, the battery lasts from let's say 7 a.m. till 8 9 p.m. So you should be good, but it is a smaller battery as compared to the other models, right? So it's normal that you have a little bit less battery life there. Um, Ceramic shield front and back. I haven't tried bending it myself, but I would recommend watching on YouTube Jerry Rigs Everything. He put it through a very accurate bend test, and he got the phone to bend when he put, what was it, 100 kilos of force on one specific pressure point. So Safe to say, if you use this phone normally, it will not bend, it will not break in your pockets if you sit on it or anything. You get the center stage front camera. That's the same across the board. One 48 megapixel fusion camera, and I will loop back to that in 2 slides. You only get one camera. It's a very decent one at that, and it will take great pictures in moderate lighting. But yeah, you lose a lens, right? So you have to make some compromises for the thinness somewhere. It gets the A19 Pro chip, and I already had some customers asking me, like, you get the Pro chip, which is the same as in the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, where we will loop back to in a bit. Doesn't it run hot? But the reason why the Pro chip is in this device is because it can run a little bit slower and actually be more power efficient. And you do have the power when it needs to ramp up in short bursts, but it actually adds to the battery life to have that Pro chip in there. The N1 wireless chip is the same here, so Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, and Thread. That's across the board. And this phone does get the C1X modem, so that's a new variation on the C1 that's in the iPhone 16e. And very important, it's eSIM only. So if you do purchase an iPhone Air and you still have a physical SIM, you will need to contact your carrier and actually get an eSIM for your device. There's no room for a SIM card slot at all. Bento box, I think we went over most of this, right? I really like the fact that it has a ceramic shield back as well, so that adds to the strength of the device. It's available in 4 beautiful colors. I really like the golden one. Don't know why, but it's nice. It comes with Apple Intelligence, of course, and it's a very nice update. Now, Apple shared this slide. And like I said, they do some weird calculations because you have one camera lens and they say you have 4 because it zooms out in a particular way, right? And the picture that I saw from colleagues that have the iPhone Air look great. It's the same sensor, the main camera, right? So that does its thing. You don't have the telephoto or wide angle lenses that you have on the Pros, but you're good here, right? It's a very decent camera. I got very excited when I saw this picture. Now I'm used to see the internals of Apple devices. Most customers don't, luckily. But so if you look here, the whole phone is in the camera module. So the bump at the top of the phone contains the logic board, the CPU, the camera, almost everything. The rest of the device is battery and then the Taptic engine to vibrate. That's crazy. It's insane how small these things get and how powerful they are. I got some questions from customers asking about the battery capacity. So as it stands here, that's 3,149 milliamperes. It is smaller as compared to the iPhone 17, but you should be good to go. Funnily enough, it's exactly the same battery capacity as the battery bank that's sold separately. So you can purchase a MagSafe battery, and it's exactly the same battery that's in it. So that's pretty neat. The phone that I ordered was the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So the 17 Pro and Pro Max lineup have a new design. They switched from titanium back to aluminum. And specifically, then they also have this very small glass back in it with a vapor chamber to cool that A19 Pro chip. Where in the iPhone Air, they use the Pro chip to be a little bit more power efficient. Here, you can use the full power all the time and also have one extra GPU core than the iPhone Air. And to avoid it running hot or as hot as previous phone did, they added a vapor chamber to cool it down. I got an odd question for a customer saying like there's liquid inside of there. Yes, there is. Do we need to replace that? No. So you don't have to come in with your iPhone and do maintenance on it. That's not necessary. N1 wireless chip, like again across the board. You get 3 48 megapixel rear cameras. So according to Apple, you now have 8 lenses. Again, weird stuff, but they all take very nice pictures, and especially the macro lens now is crazy how close you can get to objects, and the zoom is pretty great as well. Center stage front camera does the same across the board, and you get the best battery life ever in an iPhone. Asterisk. It's even better if you buy your phone in specific countries like the US or UAE, because then you have an eSIM only model. So in Europe, You can get the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max with a SIM card slot. You cannot get the eSIM-only model here. And then you lose a little bit of battery. Actually, you lose about 2 hours of battery life at a whole. If you would purchase it abroad, you will not have a SIM card slot at all, and then you have a larger battery. I hope that we switch to eSIM only next year, but I can understand why carriers here are a little bit slower, so that we're not there yet fully. Pull up the bento box, four amazing colors. I got the silver one myself, but I really, really like the orange and blue ones. Um, yeah, Zeno, which one did you order?
Well, I was thinking about the blue one. Normally, I take always a black one, but there isn't any black one anymore. But I saw the blue one, I loved it. But then I saw the orange one, and then I decided, well, this time it will be an orange one with a black case. My wife said, "Why is the orange one? You normally I get the previous one when you buy a new one, but sorry, next year she gets an orange one instead of the blue one."
That's exactly the reason why I got the silver one. My wife didn't allow me to order
Yeah.
the orange one.
I flipped the coin and it was head and head was orange, so I decided to take orange. It's something else. I love the color. If you see it in our stores, it's amazing.
Yep, it is. And so again, all our stores and our own showroom here in our headquarters as well have the new models on display. So do go out, look at them. They look really great and they are very usable.
Yeah. Also the feeling. It's something else because the corners are
Yep,
more rounder.
they're rounder.
It's not that straight than before, and I love that feeling. Some of the guys, some of my friends said, "Oh, it's pity that they changed that," but also because it's aluminum, it's much nicer in your hand as well.
Doesn't cut your hand anymore.
Yeah,
Like
that
previous
is the
phones, you
thing.
could have a grip that, yeah, it's
That's the
better.
thing.
My favorite update to the iPhone is the next one. And I'm not going to bore you too long with that, but there's a new feature built into all iPhone 17 and iPhone Air models called Memory Integrity Enforcement. You can compare it a little bit to ECC memory in servers of the past. So this is always on memory safety protection whilst maintaining the performance of your device. And I'm not going to try and explain how it works. If you're interested in that, please scan the QR code on display. It will take you to an article from Apple that goes into much more detail on how this works. But so this ensures that threats like Pegasus, right? So spyware that targets high profile clients cannot be as effective or effective at all. So a very cool feature that's now built in. Um, they released a press release about this. They didn't mention it at all during the keynote, but it's really great that they do this kind of things for their customers. Moving on, we got some new accessories as well with the iPhone lineup. So now you have a new power adapter. It's a dynamic one, so it's a 20-watt power adapter that can ramp up to 40 watts for fast charging, which is cool. On the display here, you see the iPhone Air with its bumper. So the bumpers are back. I think that's from the 4S times, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I have a throwback. Actually, I had two throwbacks in the keynote. If you have the picture of the iPhone Air, how they hold it, it was like iPod Nano
yeah,
in the days of Steve Jobs. And then you had the
correct.
bumper, and the bumper was iPhone 4, 4S
Yep.
back in the days. So yeah, that was throwback.
And
Throwback time.
back in the day, they released a bumper case to resolve an antenna issue with the iPhones.
Hmm.
That's not present here. It's just a cool accessory.
Yeah.
And it's combined with the lanyard strap. And
Yeah.
I found it silly. My wife said she wanted one and she thought it was the greatest thing that Apple ever did. So that's that you need to decide for yourself. But so now you can carry your iPhone like a purse for the
Hmm.
people that want to. There are new tech woven cases. So that's the new replacement for the leather cases of old. Um, they look better, think, and they are a little bit more durable than the previous edition. I still ordered a leather case for myself because I like it, but you do what you want. Like I said, there's an iPhone Air MagSafe battery now, which fits just perfectly on the iPhone Air. It's not compatible with the other iPhone models,
No.
unless you use it as a battery bank, but then there are probably better options.
Hmm.
And the sister brand Beats also released some cases, including a kickstand. Those are nice as well. I mean, every case vendor in the world now has iPhone Air and iPhone 17 cases. So take a look at what you like, and there are many options out there. One accessory that got the most updates ever, I believe, so far is the polishing cloth. It's a joke, of course, but now the polishing cloth is compatible with the iPhone Air 17 and 17 Pro Max. I still don't get why people buy this. I know what's it for, right? It's to clean the special displays, but yeah. I found it was funny that they take the time to update this on their store so people cannot be confused that it wouldn't be compatible with their device.
Yeah, actually, for me, it's an amazing product. The first time I used it, it was with XDR display. It
Yep.
was included in with the display, and I use it a lot on our marketing activities and events to just clean our screen. We don't need any products to clean our screens. Just to use a use a cloth, and it's quite expensive, but it works.
Yep.
And yeah, I like it that it's available for iPhone now.
And for the well, it's the same cloth, but yeah, for the people that would be interesting in this polishing cloth, it's available in all our stores. We have it in stock, but yeah, let's move on. To OS 26. It was released a couple of weeks ago. I think many organizations are already upgrading, which is great. I think it was Lufthansa and Cisco that were day one compatible across their fleet, and they're actually starting to enforce the update as well. We also didn't notice any issues here internally. We did an Apple Insights session a couple of months back about the updates of OS 26. So if you want to have more details about that, please watch our YouTube video of that recording. I will show the bento boxes here, but I'll just say what my most used feature is so far. I won't bore you with going over all the details again. So if we start with macOS 26, it got the new liquid glass design. Of course, my favorite feature, there are two, is Spotlight first and foremost. I really like the new Spotlight version, especially the clipboard manager. It's really, really great. And the phone. You already could pick up phone calls with FaceTime, but now it has a dedicated phone app. So if somebody calls you, you're already having your AirPods in, connected to your Mac. You can just pick up on your Mac and it doesn't do any weird switching there. Do you have any favorite macOS Tahoe updates,
Yeah, the Spotlight is much better. Also, yeah, maybe why to customize folders. It's also a nice thing. No, for me, it's the glass thing on Mac. I love it. In the beginning, it's just a bit weird with the rounded corners of your windows. That's maybe in the beginning something else. But yeah, for me, Spotlight is a big benefit. I use it all the time. Also, the phone application, I like it as well. Because I use a lot of AirPods during the day, just opening the application, I can call someone. It goes very fast, very easy. So yeah, I think that is the most interesting one for me.
Perfect. Moving on to iOS. There are some things that we're not getting, unfortunately, right? So hold assist, call screening is not available yet because the language is not available. The live activities that go to your Mac aren't available because of the EU's DMA. Yeah, so it's a little bit limited here. My favorite feature of iOS 26 is CarPlay. CarPlay got a major redesign and it's much more usable in my car now, which is great. I really love CarPlay.
Yeah.
You can now use Apple Intelligence Foundation models in your shortcuts, for example. I have played around with that a little bit. Works very well. And the visual intelligence I use sparingly, but it works very, very well, right? So if you take a screenshot of anything, you can now also do a visual intelligence lookup and it will actually give you some results.
Yeah.
Which is great. I just want to add that the beta of iOS 26.1 was released this week. And now Apple Intelligence is in beta for Dutch as well. So I hope that this gets into the final 0.1 release and we actually have Apple Intelligence in Dutch available to us.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. What do you like most about iOS,
Well, actually, yeah, CarPlay is amazing. Just doing more messaging in my car. If I receive messages and then to reply, because yeah, my phone is set up in English, but of course the messages I receive are in mostly in Dutch. But I can answer in Dutch. and it's working really good.
Yeah.
Because now the settings I think are different, and it's much easier. Also, the layout that you have in your car, it's much nicer. And actually, in iOS, the backgrounds and messages, it's just a stupid feature, but I like it.
They're fun.
Yeah, and just maybe a question because I don't know it. Is it also shared with your responder? If you selecting backgrounds, is
Yeah,
your own
so
background is
so
shared?
we have a couple of message groups here internally with our system engineers, and that background is visible to everyone in the message group, and it also syncs across devices. So that's
Okay,
really great.
that was a thing. Yeah, but I like the update. I like the update.
Moving on to iPadOS, and this one is the coolest, right? You finally have true multitasking on iPad. So you get window controls, window tiling, you get the folders in the dock, you get app expose, background tasks, a menu bar. It's becoming more and more an actual computer.
Mhm.
So you can now use the power that your iPad already has more efficiently. And I think, yeah, the whole multitasking thing is my favorite part of iOS.
Yeah.
And I heard that from many of our customers as well.
Mhm. Yeah. It worked brilliantly.
Mhm.
I that was the reason why I installed the beta version of iOS 26 to test it, and actually in beta it works already really great. But it's also a big benefit for education because
Yep.
a lot of feedback that we received from iPad or using iPad in education, yeah, you can't use the window tiling, etc., and changing the windows, but now that thing is solved, and now with a keyboard and a mouse you can use that as a computer. So it's a really big update for education.
Yep.
So if you have any questions to use iPadOS in your schools on your current devices, because you can upgrade them most of the time to use those features, just give us a sign, and then we can show you some demos of it.
Okay, cool. Moving on to watchOS. This is uh, not a big update as a whole. I like the redesign. It looks pretty neat. There are some new watch faces as well. The wrist flick gesture, I don't use that often, but when I do, it works, so that's fine. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a nice addition to the watch. It pairs nicely also with the new watch models, right? I don't know. Is there? Did you already use the workout buddy? I don't work out, so.
Yeah, actually, I didn't. But yeah, I'm planned to go cycling,
Mhm.
and I want to try it. So we will see what will happen. I saw it in the keynote, and I thought, okay, that could be nice, but I will test it. So yeah,
Do let us
maybe
know.
yeah, maybe the next webinar I will give you some feedback about Workout Buddy.
Perfect. Another small update was tvOS, and you see it from the filler slides, right?
Mhm.
New content on Apple TV Plus and the poster art aren't really updates per se. My favorite feature here is the choosing of profiles on Wake. We have 3 profiles, one for me, one for my wife, and one for my son. So it's now easier to switch between that. And my son is 3. He understands that he needs to pick his profile if he wants to watch something on TV. So it's
Mhm.
very intuitive. It works pretty well. Call notifications on Apple TV, those work as well. I don't know who would pick up the phone on their TV, but that's possible. Permanently connecting the speakers, AirPlay speakers to your Apple TV are great as well. So
Mhm.
when you now start an app and start watching something, it connects immediately to the speakers and you don't have to go to settings anymore to
Yep.
do that. There's some new screensavers as well. It's pretty great.
Now we can fly to India. I
Yeah,
love it.
perfect. Vision OS got much love as well. Unfortunately, the Vision Pro is still not available in Belgium, but for the people that go to our neighboring countries, because it's available in France, UK, and Germany, you can pick one up. And the 26 update here is pretty significant. So now you have options to have shared experiences. So you're not isolated anymore in that Vision Pro. And there's also options for device sharing within Teams, right? I personally love that I'm able to unlock my iPhone with Vision Pro because Face ID obviously doesn't work if you have giant ski goggles on your face. So that's a nice addition there. Look to scroll works pretty nicely. The new persona is creepingly accurate. I no longer look like a fat Harry Potter, so that's perfect there. And you have also wide FOV content support, so now you can actually watch some more content. Apple actually announced that they are starting ramping up their production of spatial
Mhm.
scenes again as well. There are some pretty nifty things in there, so that's pretty
Yep.
cool. Do you still use the Vision Pro that's around here?
Yeah, sometimes he's here in the office. Sometimes I use him. We had a colleague who shot a keynote with a Vision Pro, amazing experience.
Yep.
That works really good. And I like the update of shared experiences because for me, the Vision Pro, the big problem was that you put a Vision Pro on, but
Hmm.
parents, yeah, your friends can't see any content, and now we can watch a series or a movie together, and that's an update. Of course, it's quite expensive to buy two Vision Pros for the moment, so maybe you just go to the cinema. But it's a nice thing. They are looking forwards. It's not you and I, you only with a Vision Pro and watching some series. So that's for me a huge benefit
Hmm.
of the
Yep,
update.
absolutely. I'm going to move over to finish off the webinar to some technical updates. So together with OS 26, there were some updates to Apple Business Manager, Apple School Manager. Um, just going over them pretty swiftly, the API support. So now there's an API for Apple Business Manager, Apple School Manager that has been live for a couple of months. The new warranty information is not live yet, or I haven't seen it yet in our instance anyway. Support for migrating devices between MDMs, I will demo this in the next slide, works. So your devices need to be on OS 26 for it to work, but it works really great. And then there's some updates to managed Apple accounts to make them a little bit more usable. Just a reference here for people that have an Apple Business Manager, please, if you have not done so already, log in and accept the new terms and conditions, or else you will have a broken enrollment experience at the moment. So you need to accept the new terms and conditions there. So if I want to demo the enrollment migration, if we take a phone and we set a deadline and we say you need to update for a specific date, the end user gets a prompt. If they're not past the deadline, they can defer it, but else they can start the enrollment experience. It will ask them to reboot the phone in this case. Um, it will unenroll from the current MDM. So it will remove the MDM profile and it will enroll into the new MDM and install the new MDM profile. The device stays supervised whilst you're doing that, and you don't have to wipe the device anymore for that. And then you're done, right? And your devices are available in the other MDM. This is great for people that are testing out MDMs or are moving, right? Apple makes it really easy now for you to reevaluate your mobile device management system. And if you need any help with that, please contact us. You can do migrations, you still have to think about them. So Apple does the heavy lifting here, but you still need to think what happens on the device when an MDM profile is removed so that it doesn't just throw away apps and tries to reinstall them, for example. So again, if you need help with this, let us know and we will certainly help out. Also new for enterprise are platform SSO updates. It's now available in the setup assistant. Unfortunately, there are only two identity providers supporting platform SSO. So that's Microsoft Entra and Okta. And neither of those are compatible yet with the single sign-on experience during enrollment. I will demo a hacky version of it in the next slide just to show how it kind of looks. But so as soon as Microsoft has compatibility here, this would replace options like Jamf Connect or Kanji Passport or whatever open source tool there is out there that does something similar. Declarative device management got some updates for app installs on Macs, so that's great. Safari management, finally, you can easily manage, for example, bookmarks, etc. Return to service had a major update, so this is especially popular in education, but you can now do app preservation, right? So return to service is wiping a device and have it automatically re-enroll without you having to touch the device. Now you can do that and keep your apps on there as well. And we tested it here. It works as expected, right? So like Jamf and Jamf School have compatibility with this already. You can just wipe the device. It will restart. It will do its enrollment again, and all the managed apps stay on device. That's perfect. And for those people that have a Vision Pro, you can now also manually enroll it into Apple Business Manager and Apple School Manager via Apple Configurator for iPhone. And you have broader management for Apple Intelligence features. So to round off the webinar, I just want to show how Platform SSO kind of looks during enrollment. We did some magic behind the scenes to get this to work. But during the enrollment experience now, you get the single sign-on screen. You can see here that we already have a user to authenticate with. That's not normal. Normally, this would be the first screen that you get, and this experience will create that user for you. But just to show that it works and that it's an integral part of the enrollment experience. So for your end users, this will be a very nice option to start using their Mac. And with that, I want to open for questions. I don't know if there are any in the chat, Sino.
Yeah, there was a question about the availability of the iPhones. That's every year we have the same question, and that's a logic question. I take a quick look in our system. iPhone Air is on stock
Yep.
on us, so that's great. Of course, iPhone 17 Pro, it's a bit harder. It was definitely the 256 gigabytes. Yeah, are the toughest to get in stock. So if you want to have an iPhone 17 Pro, just put your order by your account manager at Lab9 Pro, and then we make a reservation. But yeah, the availability can take a bit longer. And I think on iPhone 17 at this moment we have a few devices on stock, but not that much.
I mean, like the people that are on back order don't have any message to what I'm going to say now. But for us, it's always very exciting to see how many devices that we get on
Yep.
launch, because we get them as fast shipments so that we're ready to sell on day one. And I think this year it was pretty good, right? We had
Yeah.
a couple of hundred devices here at Lab9 Pro, and then our stores got a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
But the demand is high, so they do sell out. And
Yep.
yeah, some people
Yeah.
have to wait a little bit. And I can appreciate the fact that people don't want to wait. I'm a very impatient person myself. But yeah, we do have some models on stock. And I think that the next shipments, what is it now, the third batch or
Yeah,
something,
that's a batch attack.
has to come in like today or tomorrow.
Yeah,
So.
today. I think it's today. I saw already some changes in the system. That's a reason. And on Apple Watch, of course, you have several configurations with the keys and the bands, etc. Just take contact with your account manager to check the availability. And then if you take a look on the AirPods, yeah, the demand is very high on that. Yeah. So if you want to order them, just make the reservation. They will ship within the upcoming days, I think. But the demand is very high.
I just got a question via message. I don't know who's messaging me, but about the Apple Watch band compatibility. So
Yeah.
the bands don't change, right? If you
Yeah,
have
definitely.
a 42 millimeter or 44 millimeter or what is it now, 49 millimeter,
49.
it's all the same. It works. You can use the bands that you had before, and they're interchangeable between the models.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if there are any other questions. I think all the questions that we already received are handled off, so that's okay. If you, of course, have any questions, take contact with your account manager at Lab9 Pro, or contact us by business at lab9pro.be, by mail, info at lab9pro.be, or our website, our social media. There are a lot of ways to keep contact or take contact with us. The webinar will be available also on our YouTube channel, so you will receive the link. I think within here in 2 hours, you will receive the link from me, and then you can rewatch it, share it, and hopefully we see each other back on our next webinar.
Yeah, there's nothing planned yet, but
Not yet.
if we can think about last year's, there's usually an event, or there's something releases from Apple in October or November.
Yep.
So as soon as we have any details, we will plan a next Apple Insights webinar.
Yeah,
then, right?
absolutely. And then you get the invite in your mailbox and just subscribe for the upcoming webinar. Thank you very much and have a
Thank you.
wonderful day.
See
Thank
ya.
you. Bye-bye.